showed up just because we watched the Senior Students play.
Yep.
It's like, holy cow, we have a game without 15 penalties. There's no flow. Yeah.
All right, folks, welcome to the third game of the weekend. Today's game is against the Afton Americans out of St. Louis. So after two games, this weekend, Team Philly is the 2-0. Afton comes in at 1-1. All right, start us off today. First shift. Hey, good morning. Will be Doc, Kobe, Nichols with Peace and Bops on defense and Aiden Mutt in net. Set, cuts down, and all the way back into the Afton zone. Afton shuffles over to the opposite side, tries to send it up, kick it into the neutral zone. They get it there. All the way back, takes a weird bounce off of the wall, makes it all the way back. Stops, shuffles it back over to Peace. Loses it. Center pass, Aiden knocks it back down, shuffle it again into the wall. Opposite side pass is unanswered, picked up by Nichols. Nichols dumps it in. And that'll be a nice, they'll pick it up. Nichols, forecheck pressure. Afton gets it into the neutral zone, dumps it deep all the way to the opposite wall. Lying out onto the ice. Kobe releases into the neutral zone. Cusa out on the ice. Tap forward all the way back. Lang in pursuit. Got three guys on him. Sends it back around all the way to the wall. Afton picks it up at the wall. Prudo out on the ice. Ricky gathers it. Back over to Cusa. Cusa turns, holds up, jump back in. Prudo tried to tap it forward. Afton. Clean zone. Center back opposite side. Nice save. Two saves by Aiden. Wow, Aiden with three incredible saves. Keep that out of the goal. Nichols, still on the ice, picks it up. Comes across the blue line, got a guy in his back pocket. A little bit of a hook there. Prudo circles back around, Bops gathers it, comes across the blue line, loses a puck, kicks a header into it. So 13:08, a lot of action in Team Philly's defensive zone. Aiden with some miraculous saves. Unsure how that puck didn't go in the net, thankfully. Pucks down into the corner. Afton cycles it back all the way against the wall, stops the puck, sends it back in the neutral zone. Coben picks it up. Crudo tried to reach for it, couldn't. Afton all the way to the back wall. Center pass, knocked down by Coben. Picked back up. Ricochets, gets all the way back to Afton's defensive zone. Sent back up, over to Bops. Try to send it in. Crudo's there. Knocked away. Shuffled back, picked up by Bops. Cycles it back into the neutral zone. Afton sends it deep. Aiden knocks it down, goes all the way to the back wall. Afton does a complete line change. Bob cycles it back up over to Luca. Luca try to tap it forward. Picked back up by Jake. Jake jumps it in. Luca, pressure onto the puck. Bart out onto the ice with him. Centering pass, gets to Afton. Shuffle back. Afton, back wall. Gets over to Bart. Bart kicks it. Now it's up to Jake. Jake center pass out to Luca. It's all the way back to the goaltender. Goaltender puts a glove on it. Pucks down all the way to the back wall. Bart over the challenge. Sends it back out. Lang kicks it down. Peace over. Nice play by Peace. Gets hooked up. Aiden. Nice save. That one goes off of Bart. Bart's down. Looks like it took a wicked shot. Comes to the bench. Kobe out onto the ice. Afton along the wing. Aiden knocks it down. Blocker side save. Picked up by Doc. Doc. Tap forward. Back over to Kobe. That came out of the zone. Nichols. Kobe. Doc. Pucks down. All the way opposite side. Picked up Kobe. Almost had it there. Coben back in the defensive end. Picks it up. Makes a move around. Circles back. Loses it. Kicked out of the zone. Knocked down by Nichols. Nichols. Try to get by. Scores! Nichols, holy cow. Wow. Tenacity. Knocks it down several times, took a swing at it, and caught the opposite side. So Team Philly gets on the board at the 10:31 mark for the first goal of the game. Great hustle by Aiden Nichols. Cusa, Fisher, Prudo out on. Thies and Bopst. Pucks down, back over to Bob. Bob cycles it back over to Thies, standing right next to him. No icing, all the way back to the goaltender. Shuffles it out with his glove, all the way out to the wall. Knocked down. Prudo's there. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher. Backhand. Had Cusa sitting in the slot, tried to get it over to him. Turn and fire. Prudo back over, knocks it back down. Cycles it back over. Cusa with another wicked shot, goes wide. Bops is there, holds it in the zone. Knocked down by Fisher. Cusa over against the wall. Back out, Prudo. Prudo shuffles it back over to Fisher. Couldn't control it, had his stick lifted. Cusa, pressure onto the puck, back over to Bops. Bops. Shot attempt. Knocked down. Bops back over. Shuffles it over to Thies. Richard cycles it back over the box. Tap forward. Forecheck by Team Philly, back along the boards. Bruto took a swipe at it. Good stick by Lang. Interference call, I believe, coming up on Braden Fisher. Didn't see it happen deep in the zone, so interference at the 9:19 mark. So Team Philadelphia be on a penalty kill situation. Out on the ice, Tobin, Lang, Ricky, and Luca. Pucks down. Tobin tried to break free of it. Shuffled back all the way around. Afton picks it up behind the net. Cycles back out. Back out to the point. Shot attempt off the backside of the net. Ricky picks it up. There's a tripping call coming up on Afton as Ricky goes down. So this is going to even it up at the 8:59 mark. So it'll be 4-on-4 as number 12 from Afton gets a trip. Tobin on the faceoff, same crew out. Pucks down against the wall. Afton breaks out, center ice, across the blue line. Aiden guides it into the corner. Lang back over, picked up by Tobin. Tobin sends it in, shot on goal. Goaltender steers it over to the corner. Center pass. That'll be an icing call. Lang, Ricky, Nichols, Doc out on the ice. Pick back up, one back by Afton behind the net. Turns the corner, gets into the neutral zone, hits the lane on the right-hand side, comes back up, Ricky's back over there, takes the guy off the puck, picks back up over to Lang, cycles it back over to Doc. Doc, back over to Nichols. That was offsides. Face off. Puts down, back over. Doc kicks it forward. Now gets it on, back over to Nichols. Nichols takes a shot attempt, goes wide. Goes high into the air after it goes off a defender's stick. Picked up by Afton. Afton centers it. And a breakout. Comes down. Bops on the back check. Picked back up. Over to Doc. Doc. Shuffles it in. Goes off a defender's skate to the sidewall. 20 seconds left on Team Philly's penalty. Pressure by Nichols. Doc picks it up. Oh my gosh, almost got tipped. Picked back up by Bops. Bops opposite side. Team Philly has a fifth man as now they're on the power play. Rudo tried to pull it through. Doc shuffles around the opposite side. Fisher is out. Hits his own guy. Opposite side. Oh my gosh, almost picked it up. Fisher tried to get to it, shuffle opposite side, back over to Perudo. The penalty coming up. And maybe on Fisher again for a hook, I believe. Yeah, definitely a hook. So 6:54, so it was even strength. Now Team Philly will be back on a penalty kill again at the 6:54 mark. just on Fisher. There's Peruto. Touchdown. Touchdown over the back wall. Tobin shuffles it. Holds it up. Back between his skates. Try to move it back through. And gets it out of the zone. Really nice play. Luka with some token pressure. Afton, breakout. Shuffles it over to the opposite side. Comes through. Gains the zone. All the way back to the back wall. Tobin back over to put pressure on the puck. Tobin. Good pressure. Back over to Fisher. Fisher try to hit it through. Gets it all the way up. And back. Goaltender holds it up. Afton streams forward. Circles it back. Picks up at the point. Back out to the point again. 1:03 left on the power play for the African Americans. Picks it up into the wall. Bart out onto it. Back up to Tobin. Tobin tries to knock it out. Afton tried to get a shot off and goes wide. Back out to the point again. Picked back out by Bart. Shot attempt goes down. All the way opposite side. Back over to Lang. Lang clears it out. All the way back. 37 seconds left. Heston. A little pressure. Shuffles it back into the neutral zone. Afton. Shuffle it back over to Thies. Thies cycles it back over to Nichols. Nichols turns. Back in. 19 seconds left on the power play for the African Americans. Try to clear the zone. Picked up at the point. Opposite side. Nice save by Ada. Knocked back down. Picked up by Bops. Bops all the way back. So that will kill off the penalty for Team Philadelphia. Make it even strength again at the 4:50 mark. They cycle back all the way down. Kick back out to Bops. Bops. That'll be an icing call. So 4:38 left first period. 1-0 Team Philadelphia. On the face-off, down below his feet, picked up by Bops against the back wall. Shuffled it back over, opposite side, picked up by Thies, back over to Kobe. Kobe. First period. Nichols, Kobe, Doc, Thies, and Bops. Back all the way out to the point. Redirect goes to the outside of the goal. Afton shovels it back over to Doc. Doc back in, gets it out into the neutral zone. Nichols is there. Sends it all the way back, picked up by Bops. Back over to Kobe. Kobe dumps it in. Doc on the forecheck over on the opposite side. Knocked back down. All the way, picked up by Thies. Thies is there. Back over to Kobe. Kobe dumps it in. Circles it back opposite side over to Doc. Doc gets a shot attempt off, takes a ricochet and goes outside the goal. That's back in the neutral zone. Richard sends it over opposite side. Afton dumps it in. Cycle back all the way. Doesn't make it out of the zone. Now it's out of the zone. Afton has to regroup. Bops at the blue line, puts pressure onto the puck. Cusa's over the center pass, knocked down, back over to Kobe. Kobe tried to dump it forward, going to Fisher. Good pressure by Cusa. Kicks it back out to Fisher. Cusa's there. Delayed offsides, cleared. Bruto. Challenging the puck. Lang dumps it back in. Goes long. Opposite side pass. Aiden, blocker side save to the back wall. Picked up by Cusa. And that'll be an icing call. .249 left first period. 1-0 Team Philly. Bart, Jake, Luca. Lang and Ricky out on the ice. Picked back up by Jake. Jake clears the zone. Afton sends it deep. Aiden against the back wall. Ricky picks it back up, back over to Luca. Luca releases it into the neutral zone. Picked up as the zone clears. Back over to Lang. Lang looking. Now it's back over to Luca. No icing call. Back all the way to the back wall. Bart with some pressure knocks it back down. Cycles back out. Afton picks it up. Afton dumps it in all the way to the back wall. Light touch back over to Lang. Lang cycles it back out to Luca. Release. Gathers it. Waits. Holds up for Bart. Bart opposite side. Picked up by Lang. Knocked back down. Team Philly with a line change. Afton loses the puck underneath of him. Nichols with some pressure on the puck. Afton tried to gather it. Kobe shuffles it back opposite side, sends it on net. Goaltender puts a glove on it. Nichols, Doc, Kobe, boxed and Goose out. It's Tobin out on the ice. Set long, gets all the way down. That's probably going to be an icing call. And it is. Same lineup. Both ends. Touchdown. Nichols tried to push through. Couldn't. Back out. Picked up by Doc. Doc. Nichols picks it up wide. Sends it off the side of the net. Pick back up. Try to cycle it into the slot. There's a penalty coming up on Team Philadelphia as Afton player loses an edge. And that will, the 1:16 mark, again, put Team Philadelphia in a penalty kill situation. So Nichols with the penalty. All right, so Luca, Kobe, Bobst, and Tobin out on the ice. Back over. Picked back up at the point by Afton. Afton on the wing. Shot attempt. Aiden knocks it down. Actually, that hit Tobin in the leg. Tobin trying to get back up. Struggling to get back up. Now it's at the point. Opposite side. Out on the wing. Aiden. Back in. Aiden had a tough time. He juggled it first time, released, and went, I think he went off the top side of his glove, shuffled right to the guy sitting on the side of the goal. And Ricky gets a unsportsmanlike sitting on the bench. Referee went over. So Team Philly will be down a man for another 2 minutes. All right, so Team Philly comes out of a penalty kill. It's out of the goal scorer. Now they're back into it. Back over to Lang. Lang tries to send it into the zone and has it dumped into the protective netting. Cusa, Fisher, Lang, and Thies out on the ice. Picked back up by Lang. Lang over to Thies. Thies dumps it all the way back. 40 seconds left in the period. Afton shuffles it back over to the opposite side. Center pass. Makes its way into the neutral zone. 26 seconds. Ooh, whips on it. Cusa. Pressure. 19 seconds. Back over. 11 seconds. Back into the neutral zone. And that should just about do it for the end of the period. So at the end of one, Team Philly is 1-1. After a power play goal by the African Americans.
There you go.
I want to check out that pizza, that Nino's place, that pizza place. That's right out as you come. It's on the course of the. Well, and it's got like calzones, cheesesteaks. I'm like, I mean, that's like, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
Right, ready for the start. Second period, 1-1. Team Philadelphia again will be down a man with 1:11 remaining on that penalty. Right out on the ice, Bart, Luca, Tobin, and Bobst. Puck down, one all the way back. Bobst retrieves all the way back down. Cycles it back over to Luca. Luca tried to control, couldn't. Shuffled back down into the corner. Afton gains control. Pick back up at the wing. Center shot. Shot attempt goes wide. Cycles it back out to the point. Back out on the wing. Back out to the point. Nice rebound by Aiden. Puck's down, pick back up, try to get knocked down, back in the slot. Fisher reaches for it, unable to get it. Looking, opposite side. Sends it over to the other point. Shot attempt goes wide, and that will make it out of the zone. 24 seconds left. Nichols, pressure onto the puck. Gets it away. Afton gains his own. 13 seconds. Pressure, back over. Lang over against the wall. Helps. Afton sends it out to the point, tries to jump it down. Back over to Nichols. Nichols back in, gets it out of the zone. Afton will have to clear the zone. Shuffles it back over, Lang. And that'll be an icing call. So Team Philly successfully kills out that latest penalty. So even strength at the 13:40 mark. Nichols with Kobe and Doherty. Kobe breaks it, sends it long, fights all the way to the back wall to get to it. Doc's over, retrieves it. Back out to the point to Feast. Back over to Doc. Feast dumps it in. Nichols tried to get there, pulled away from him. Could have been a tripping call. I don't disagree with them. Back over to Nichols. Nichols gets around his man. Afton sends it all the way to the back wall. Feast shuffles it back over to Kobe. Kobe centers it opposite side over to Doc. Doc dumps it in. Nichols on the forward check. Doc knocks it down. Nichols back over to retrieve it. Sends it back out to the point to Lang. Lang gets a shot attempt off and goes into the protected netting. Cusa, Fisher, Prudo, Tobin, and Botts. Back down. Bob tried to do a shot attempt. Set all the way up. That'll be an icing call.
That's an easy one.
All right, 12:31. Fisher on the face-off. Pucks down, picked back up over Prudo. Prudo gets tripped. Over to Cusa. Cusa looks. Aiden comes off the ice. Back over to Bops. Bops gets a shot attempt off, and that will introduce a penalty for the Afton Americans. So Afton will be down a man. Team Philadelphia on a power play at the 12:20 mark, second period. Pucks down, picked back up. Over to Prudo, turns, holds up, looks. Shuffles back, picked up by Botts. Back out to Botts again after coming from Fisher. Back out to the point. Over to Tobin. Cusa, back over to Tobin. Tried to get Fisher on the opposite side. Knocked down by Tobin. Nice defensive pressure. Back into the corner, holds up, waits, looks. Back out to Cusa. Try to get a shot attempt off. And on the back check, Cusa's got to get on the guy. Center pass picked up over to Tobin. Tobin shuffles it back over to Cusa. Back over to Fisher. Comes across, gains his own, shuffles it back out. Over to Prudo. Prudo looks center. Still back out. Tobin. Back out to Cusa. Cusa scores! Fisher with the redirect. Gets the puck in the back of the net at the 11:08 mark to put Team Philadelphia up 2-1 on a nice power play goal. Nichols, Doc, Kobe, Lang, and Ricky out on the ice. Pucks down all the way to the back. Afton swings around to the opposite side. Try to get it back up. Doc's there. Now it's back over to Ricky at the point. Ricky sends it deep. Shuffles it back. Up against the back wall. Good play by Lang. Puck's floating right out there. Goaltender tried to glove it, was unable to do so. Now it's back in the neutral zone. Ricky on a back check. 2-on-2. Afton has to wait. Shuffles it back over to the point. Dumps it back in. Now Ricky back over. Ricky sends it back over to Lang, who rotates around the goal. No icing. All the way back. Kobe pulls it through. Try to center pass. Goes across crease. Unanswered. Picked up by Ricky. Doc is shuffling down. And there's going to be a hand pass on Afton, so it will be a neutral zone face-off. No, end zone face-off. 10:02. Pucks down, back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky tried to get a shot attempt off, gets knocked down before the goal, cycled back over. Jake tried to dump it in. Bart, that's a good line. Luca, a great hustle back. Tries to shuffle it in, does. Luca on the forecheck, Jake on the opposite side. Shuffle back out to the point, Lang's there. Oh my gosh, not sure. That just squirmed back out, picked up by Bart. Bart keeps it in, sends it back down. Luca back over. Just outside the reach of Jake. Goes off his skate back into the zone. Luca back over to fight for it. Afton shuffles it back into the neutral zone. Picked up Lang and Aiden with a nice glove down. Fisher, Cusa Prudo back out on the ice, picked back up by Thies jumps it back over. Prudo taps it forward, Cusa on the forecheck. Afton gathers, looks, shuffles across to the opposite side. Back into the neutral zone, looks up, knocked down by Cusa. Cusa drops it forward over to Prudo. Prudo, there's a trip coming up. I don't know if I agree with that, but so good enough to convince the referee at the 8:59 mark that Afton will be on another penalty kill situation. Fisher, all the way to the back wall. Pressure by Bops there. Cusa charges forward, but gets its way out into the neutral zone. Tobin shuffles it back over to the opposite side, over to Fisher. Fisher. Picked up by Prudo. Prudo gains his zone. He's got a guy in his back pocket. Holds up, back to the back wall. Looks to release. Can't. And that's set all the way back up. Back over to Cusa. Cusa picks it up. Looks. Shuffles it over to Tobin. Tobin gains his own, dumps it in, shuffled all the way back around to the opposite side. Box is there. Shuffled back over. Waiting. Puck still floating around. All the way to the back wall. Shuffles it back. Knocked down by Tobin at the point. Tobin gathers it. Takes a shot attempt. Dribbles past the goaltender on the outside. Picked up by Bots. Shuffle back over to Tobin. Back over to Fisher. Fisher had a stick lifted right at the very end. Sent back over into the corner. 48 seconds left on Team Philadelphia's power play. Tobin back at the point. Looks back out to Cusa. Cusa whipped on the pass. Back out to Tobin. Penalty coming up. So Afton with a penalty coming up. Unsure what the call is here. I believe Crudo retaliated on an original penalty, so it'll be still 30 seconds left on the Team Philly power play, but 2 players in the box, 1 for Team Philly, 1 for the Afton Americans. Touch back over to Nichols, shuffle back over to Doc, sent back out to the point. Nichols, 18 seconds. Makes its way all the way back out to the point. Nichols tried to get around opposite side. Puck dribbled down. Sent all the way back. Knockdown for Nichols. Now it's even strength. Nichols turns, looks, waits. Shuffles it back out to Kobe, neutral ice. Tried a backhand, hit Doherty on the other side, picked up by the Americans. Afton back into the corner. Shuffle back out to the point. Shot attempt, goes wide, Ricky's there. Ricky whiffs on the puck. That's knocked back down, still along the side wall. Kobe's there. Afton comes away with the puck. Attempt to clear, back out to Nichols. Nichols, back over to Doc. Doc might have a leg, unable to get to the Heston back over, tries to put pressure on Afton into the neutral zone, comes across the blue line, gains his own. Back on the wing, drops it back, center pass. Aiden with a nice save. So 6:01 left, second period. Team Philly up 2-1. Luca out on the ice with Fisher. Try to break free, and there's a penalty coming up on Afton. So another penalty for the Afton Americans at the 5:53 marks. Team Philly have a power play opportunity again. Out of the ice. All right. So Fisher, Doc, Cusa, Tobin, Bobst. Puck's down, back out to the point. Shuffled back over to Cusa. Back over to Tobin. Back out to Fisher. Fisher, back over to Bobst. Bobst looking. Pulls it back out to the point. Back out to Fisher. Nice glove save by the goaltender. That's down. Afton gathers it on the bus. Nice save by Aiden. Guy broke through 2 of our defenders. Shuffled it back out to Fisher. Fisher comes up, makes a move around, Breaks the blue line. Looks. Oh, look. Try to hit. Nice shot attempt by Bobs. Doc back out. Shuffles it back over to Tobin. Opposite side over to Cusa. Back out. Pass attempt back over to Doc. Doc shuffles it back up to Fisher. Over to Cusa. Opposite side, picked up. Scored! Doc picks it up in the slot after it dribbles out. Hits the top shelf on the opposite side to make this a 3-1 game. So at the 4:43 mark, Team Philly up 3-1. Jake Luca. 4:42 left second period. Jake, back check. Forecheck, excuse me. Back out. Luca challenges, picked up by Lang. Lang drops it in. That should be an icing call. No icing call. All the way back in the neutral zone. Bart knocks it down right for a defender. Defender breaks free, comes back down to the wing, right in the slot. Shot attempt, wow, got lucky because that one, Aiden had no visibility whatsoever. Went wide, picked back up on the wing. Shot attempt again goes wide, back out to the point, 4:07. Picked up by Lang. Lang tried to dribble it back out. Luca's there, unable to take a swipe at it. Back to the point to Afton. Afton shuffles down on the wing, back out to the point again. Center pass. Backhand swipe at it, gets by Aiden after it got knocked down. He couldn't see it. So at the 3:50 mark, Afton gets on the board to make it 3-2. Nichols, Doc, Kobe. Tobin and Bobst out on the ice. Kobe's back there. Knocks it forward. Kobe all the way back down. Shuffles it back. Back out to Doc. Doc. Back out to the wing. Over to Nichols. Nichols. Try to make a move around. Picked up by Doc. Afton gathers it. Tap forward. Back over. Aiden shuffles it out into the neutral zone. Picked back up by Tobin. Opposite side, picked up by Nichols. Nichols gets by a man, splits. Gets a shot attempt off. Toby gloves it down. Centering pass, opposite side, picked up by Tobin at the point. Tobin shuffles it back down. Doc over to help. Afton gathers, cycles it back. 2:53. Comes out of the neutral zone. Tobin couldn't control it as it jumped his stick. Afton comes back out. And nice save by Aiden as he knocks it down in front and controls the puck. Fisher, Cusa, Prudo with Lang and Peace out on the ice. Puck's down, back over. Fisher fights for it. Aiden with a beautiful save. Holy cow. .237 left second period. 3-2 Team Philadelphia. Back over, picked up by Lang. Lang shuffles back up into the neutral zone. Pick forward. That's back over. Prudo shuffles it back over to Cusa. Cusa cross. Gets a shot attempt off. Goalie steers it back to the corner. Afton shuffles back out. Sends it back up. Offsides. Puck's down, one back over to Thies. Thies back up. Crudo knocks it down, no icing call, back to the back wall. 2:05 left, second period. Acton. Lang across the blue line. Into the neutral zone, actually into the zone. Fisher's there, gets his stick locked up. Acton shuffles it back over to the opposite side, dumps it in. Hits the referee. It's offside, delayed offsides. Back out to Cusa. Cusa comes through. Try to feed Braden. Fisher cycles it back out to Thies at the point. Thies over to Cusa. Try to hit Thies in the slot. Bang. I'm not sure how Lang got the penalty on that, but apparently he did. So Afton will be on a power play, Team Philly, penalty kill situation. Ricky, Bart, Tobin, and Jake out to try to kill this penalty off with 1:19 left in the second period. Bart on the faces. Back out to the point, shuffled back out. Redirect goes over top of Aiden's head to the back wall, pick back up. Back out to the winger. Bart standing firm. Knocks back off. Pass attempt gets ricocheted. 56 seconds left. All the way to the opposite side. Aiden with a nice save. Sent back to the opposite side. Pick back up. Out on the wing. Back out to the point. Knocked it down and the puck got on edge and then dribbled over the goal line. So 3-3 at the 38-second mark. Back down. Nichols try to get to it. All the way to the back wall. Bob's on a back check. Checked up against the back wall. 30 seconds left in the period. Picked up by Nichols. Nichols looks. Shuffles it back over. No icing. 20 seconds. Picked up by Thies. Thies. Back out to Kobe. Kobe. Back over to Doc. Doc takes a swipe out. 11 seconds. Back out to Aiden. 6 seconds. And that should do it. All right, so very entertaining second period. So after 2 periods, tied up 3-3. Start third period. Everything's evened up. Shift out. Then goes Kobe Doc with Bops and Peace on the defensive end. Down, back over. Kobe tried to get to a box there. Shuffled back into the neutral zone. Picked up by Peace. Tried to send it over. Dump back. Peace gets it. Shuffles it back over to Bops. Bops hits Doc. Comes center ice. Comes across the blue line. Pulls back up. Centers back over to Kobe. Kobe trips over the pump. Back out to Doc. Ooh, nice attempt to get it over to Nichols on the opposite side. Picked back up by Nichols. Nichols drags it into the zone. Shuffles it back over to Bops. Bops hits Doc, streaming, opposite side. Try to get by a defender. Nichols is there. Kobe shuffles it back over to Doc. Doc. Afton back into the corner. Bops charges forward. Gets into the neutral zone, delayed offside. Afton, opposite side. Aiden with a beautiful save. Fisher, Prudo, Cusa. Puck down back in the slot. Picked up by Prudo. Prudo tried to beat his defender. Has it knocked away. After. Back out to the point. Tap back in. Lang on the back check. Back over to retrieve. Shuffles it back over to Prudo. Prudo. Try to release the backhand. That's back out to Lang. Into the neutral zone. That should be an offside. Puck back out. Neutral zone. Sends it deep. Aiden back over. And that goes out of play. Out to Lang. Lang tried to clear the zone. Back up to Ricky. Ricky tried to clear the zone. Cusa's there. Circle back around. Back over to Ricky. Shuffles it back opposite side. Picked up by Lang. Lang. Back out to Fisher. Fisher. Almost had an opportunity. Cusa back along the board. Back over to Fisher. Tried to drop it over to Cusa. Back out to the point. Lang takes a swipe at it. So 12:48, 3-3. Pucks down, back over to Tobin. Tobin releases all the way back to the goaltender. Puck's back against the back wall. Jake gets his stick tangled up. Now it gets released. Centers just outside the reach of Luco. That's it. all the way to the back wall, picked up by Bart. Bart shuffles back out to Jake. Jake can't control it. Knocked down by Bart. Center pass picked up by Luca. Luca into the neutral zone, shuffles it back out, dumps it in. Luca on the forecheck all the way to the opposite side, picked up against the boards. Bart's there, shuffles it back over to Bops. Bops try to knock it back in. Afton gathers it, shuffles it back out. Back out to Tobin. Roughing call, I believe, coming up on Afton. Number 56. So Team Philly will be on a power play at the 12:03 mark. Bart, Nichols, Kobe, Luca, and Doc. Puck gets set in the slot, shuffled back out. Aiden knocks it back down. Back over to Doc. Shuffled back over to Nichols. Nichols gains his own, looks, holds up. Back out to the point to Doc. Back out to Kobe. Back out to Nichols at the point. Try to get a shot attempt. Luca controls back behind the net, loses it. Now it's back over, goes off the referee's skate. Nichols pulls it back out, still along the wall. Luca pushed back out. Bart retrieves it, back out to Luca. Luca looking, back out to Nichols. Shot attempt, goaltender didn't see it. Now it goes all the way back. Line change for both parties. Nichols drags it back to behind the net. Nichols back out to Fisher. Out there to Cusa. Shuffles it back out to Fisher. Gain the zone. Comes along. Loses it. Bops back over to retrieve it. Back out to the point to Cusa. Tobin. Shot attempt. Goaltender knocks it down. Cusa was there. Going to fire again. Had it bounce on edge. 9 seconds left on the power play. Tobin. Opposite side over to Fisher. Down, even strength. Afton shuffles it back over. Lang is there, shuffles it, try to send it in, unable to do so. Back over to Thies. Thies loses it off his stick. Afton, nice save by Aiden. Aiden poke checks it out and then jumps on top of it. And 39 left in the game, 3-3. Line change for the African Americans. Bart on the faceoff. Puck's down, back over to Thies. Thies got two guys on him. Bart back over. Thies try to lift the stick. Puck's down. Jake over to put some pressure on. Shot attempt goes wide. Back over in the corner. Lang is there. Shuffles it into the neutral zone. Picked back up. Jake all the way on the opposite side. Luca back, holds the puck up in the corner. gathers it. Afton comes away with it. Back over to Lang. Lang turns the corner, back into the neutral zone. Afton. Luka, pressure onto the puck. Afton gathers it, looks up ice, sends it back. Dumps back down. Nice stick by Lang. Jake tried to clear the zone. Back out to Thies. Thies has it knocked away from him. Pick back up. Nice intercept by Thies. Kobe trying to fight through it. Now it's back in the neutral zone. Pick back up over to Nichols. Nichols. And that goes into the protective netting. I believe went off a defender's stick. .824 left. Even strength. 3-3. Nichols, Kobe, Doc, Tobin, and Ricky. Puck down. Kobe tries to force through. Afton gets there. Tobin takes a swipe at it. Knocked back down. Kobe. Ricky pokes it out. Kobe back along. Try to get to it. Gets Nichols. Shot attempt. Goaltender steers it to the corner. Picked up by Doc. Doc gets it pushed away. Back over to Nichols. Nichols looking. Back out to the point to Ricky. Ricky shovels it back over. Nichols can't control. Afton gathers. Into the neutral zone. Across the blue line. Gains the zone. Opposite side. Nice kick save by Ada. Back out to Doc. Doc shuffles it in. Goes off the referee's skates. Back out to Doc. Doc gets tangled up. Back out. Tobin charging forward. Shuffles back over. Picked up by Tobin. Has it taken away by Afton. 7:15 left in the game. Bob cycles it back over as Afton's making a full line change. Picked up by Prudo. Try to hit Doc going long. Doc's been out for quite some time. All the way to the opposite side. Back into the corner. Thies is there. Got a guy on the opposite side. Right in the slot. Picked up by Fisher. Fisher comes down. Comes across into the zone. Makes a move. Shuffles back all the way to the back wall. Afton sends it back against the wall. Picked back up, shuffled into the neutral zone. Bops on a back check. Center pass. Attempted pass into the slot. Burrito works his way around. Shuffles it back over to Fisher. Fisher can't control. 6:28 left in the game. Afton sends it back over to the opposite side. And Aiden with a nice cradle save. .618. Bart on the faceoff, back into the slot. Luka able to steal the puck away. Afton gets it, sends it deep. Aiden comes out of net, knocks the forecheck down, picked up by Lang. Lang shuffles around, loses the puck. Wow. What a recovery by Aiden as Lang loses it in the defensive zone. Shot attempt again. Now it makes its way out to the neutral zone. Knocked back down. Lucas almost had it there. Jake forcing forward. All the way back. Luka turns the corner. Afton gains the zone. Pushes it in, drops it over to Ricky. Ricky sends it back out in the neutral zone. Play it offsides. Hold up. Aiden's there. Shuffles it back over to Ricky. Ricky back over to Lang. Lang back up to Kobe. Kobe picked up by Bart. Bart tried to get through. Goaltender tried to put a stick on it. Unable to get there. Bart pressure onto the puck. Makes its way over to Lang. Lang takes a whip at it. Kobe turns and fires as well. So penalty coming up on Team Philadelphia. 5:02 left in the third period. So Team Philly will be down a man. That was Lang on the penalty in the third period. Fisher, Luca, Ricky, and Tobin out on the ice. Apton pulls it out to the point. Shuffles back opposite side. Back out. And Aiden with a nice, able to control and pull it in. Back out to the point. Apton gains it, centers it, back out. Knocks it back down. Luca's there. Shot attempt goes wide. Lucky. Back out. Shuffles it back out to the point again. Aiden with the knockdown. Luca sends it deep. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Nichols and Bart out onto the ice. Minute 17 left. Oh my gosh, what a dribble. Nichols tried to fight for it. Falls on his edge. Back over. Bart's there. Center pass, back out. Sent all the way deep again.
Go, go, go!
Nichols. Apton gains his own, back over. Holds up at the point, looks. Back on the wing. Back out to the point again. Doesn't make it through, still there. Center pass. Nice save by Aiden. 36 seconds left on the penalty kill. Shuffled back over to the opposite side. Aiden guides it over to the corner. Sends it all the way back. Apton gathers it, 20 seconds left on the good job by Kusha to knock it down. Crudo try to get it. Crudo's there, try to knock it back. 3, 2, 1, even strength. Lang comes out of the box. Apton gains his own, sends it back. Aiden shuffles it back over in the corner. Tobin back over. Referee goes down. Tobin tried to clear his own, picked back up at the point. 2:40 left in this game. Shot attempt opposite side. Prudo's there. Try to take a stab at it. Back over to Fisher. Fisher dumps it into the neutral zone. Back over to Cusick. Got 3 guys in front of him. Dumps it in. Apton looking. Crudo with good pressure. Picked back up by Fisher in the neutral zone. Has to wait for the zone to clear. Delayed offsides. Now it's cleared. 2:22 left in this game. Shuffle back over to the opposite side. Can extend the guy out on the wing. Drops it back down. Wow, got lucky. Ricky's there. Sent all the way back. No icing call. Goaltender guides it out. Apton tried to clear the zone. Back into the neutral. Nichols is there. 151. Back out. Nichols try to tap it down. Apton. Good job by Ricky with a good check. Back over to Tobin. Tobin. Try to shuffle it back out. Over to Ricky. Clears it back out to Doc. Doc. Attempt to hit Kobe. Line change for Apton. 1:28 left in the game. Tobin charging forward. Cross center ice. All the way down. Shuffled back. Doc's there. Now it's in the neutral zone. Tobin thought about it. Dump back all the way to the back wall. Ricky's out. Nice save by Aiden. So 1:05 left in this game. 3 3-3. Cusa, Bart, Fisher, Bops, and Thies. Puck's back, out, shuffled over. Thies dumped it around the opposite side, picked up by Bops. Bops hit a stick, and that should be an icing call. Yep, and it is. Fisher on the faceoff. Push back through. Shot attempt. So it's going to be a penalty on Fisher.
Good job, Lucas! Let's go!
So Team Philly will be down 50 seconds. Man down. So I thought I heard a parent say no overtime in these round robin games. So Team Philly looking to kill this off. Captain sends it back out to the point. Sends it all the way back. Cycle back, opposite side, 33 seconds. Knocked back down. Sent deep, all the way back. Bops. Try to turn and fire. Back along the wall. Puck is up in the air. Knocked back down. Pick back up. 14 seconds, 13. Back up. Nice save by Aiden. Another nice save. 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, that's a tie. And if I heard it correctly, it does not go into overtime. So that, I believe, might get Team Philly to 2-0-1. Afton will be 1-1-1.
Game, boys!
So after a hard-fought game, Team Philly and Afton battle a clean fight. So game tonight at 8:40, late game against Golden State. So we'll see you folks then, 8:40.